and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to rank all 5 episodes of the latest season of Black Mirror, season 6.
Black Mirror. Yeah, this show is on Netflix.
Yep.
And I would say, we're pretty big fans of the show. We've watched it since the beginning, right?
I feel like we've been watching this show for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely one of our most longest running show watches, one that we've been keeping up with for the longest time, I feel like.
Yeah, I always look forward to a new season, regardless of, if all the episodes hit or not. I still really enjoy this series.
Yeah, I would love to, we're just doing the 5 episodes of season 6, but I would love to rewatch some of them and maybe do a video or something where we rank every single episode. I think that would be kind of fun.
That's not happening.
But yeah, I think this show came out back in 2011, and the series creator is a guy named Charlie Brooker. And it's a UK-based show, and he writes every single episode.
That's crazy.
And creates them all. So it's all his vision. So that's why I feel like it takes so long for a season to come out, because he's the sole creator. And the interesting thing about this season is historically with Black Mirror, they're all supposed to have some kind of technological futuristic spin to them. And I feel like this season really took a turn towards the horror. But before we get into, giving our thoughts on the season as well as ranking, please, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button. And then also
like the video.
Like the video, like she said. And then leave us a comment down below if you're watching Black Mirror, if you've been a fan since the beginning like us. If you watch this current season, what do you think of it? Let us know in the comment section below. So, okay, let's start with number 5. Who's going first?
I'm going first. Ladies first.
Let's see what the worst episode of this season was.
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie. The worst episode for me was the first episode of this season, and it's called Joan is Awful.
Joan is Awful.
I got to say that it wasn't a great episode to start with for me personally, because I really didn't like this episode very much, and I'm like, great, this whole season's gonna suck.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it definitely felt promising, but as we got into it, I'm like, this is just kind of stupid. It was a little too silly for me. I'll just say, there's a scene, we get Salma Hayek involved.
Yeah. It's very meta.
And diarrhea in a church. And I don't know, it just got a little too silly for me, and I wasn't feeling it. So that's my number 5.
What wasn't the greatest, and I'll go into it. My number 5. My number 5 is also Joan is Awful, but I didn't hate this episode. It just for me, starting the season off with that episode, it felt more in line with season 5, which I wasn't a big fan of that season at all. The 3 episodes we got there, it was fine, just nothing that really just grabbed me and hooked me. It was an interesting concept, and I did like the twist that it had, because most of the Black Mirror episodes have a twist. I felt like the twist was pretty good.
It was almost so confusing though that I couldn't even understand it.
I mean, I got it pretty good. But
it kind of goes into the Matrix and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, basic premise of the show is this girl's living her life, and then she turns on Streamberry, which is their Netflix, and then finds out that her life that she lived all day is on Netflix in story form with actors portraying her. So it's a very out there concept, but I don't know. I thought it was okay, but that was my number 5 as well, though.
All right.
Easily the worst of this season, I'll say that, but I didn't hate it.
Okay. So my number 4 is, quit looking at my list. You've already looked at...
I actually wasn't even looking at your list.
You were looking at my list.
I was looking at the pin. I wasn't even paying attention to it.
My number 4 is an episode called Maisie Day.
Okay.
And so this one kind of plays on the whole paparazzi thing.
Yeah.
Celebrities and paparazzi and all that kind of horrible stuff is what you find out from the show. And... it's not that I didn't like this episode, but I don't know. It was also, I think, the shortest episode of the season. It was 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I thought the story was fine. It just wasn't great to me. But yeah, that was my number 4 without giving too much away,
I feel like we're we might have the exact same list because
I think we might.
my number 4 is also Maisie Day. But I really like this episode. I'll say this going forward, like I really liked all these episodes.
I know, yeah.
So I did like this episode quite a bit. You know, it's got Zazie Beetz in it, who I talked about when we were watching. You're like, who is that? I was like, well, she was in Deadpool 2 and Joker. Yeah. She's been in some stuff. I thought she was really good. It felt like it was taking its time, even though it was very short. And then like the last 10 minutes, it just really goes nuts.
Right.
Like and crazy and just extremely off the wall. Like, I don't want to give away what happens because it's such like a shocker. And it's like it just turns into something that you weren't expecting. So I appreciated it for that.
And that's kind of like what Black Mirror is yeah. They tell this story and you think you kind of know where it's going, and then they'll throw in this like aha twist moment, and it ties it all together, and you'll just be like, whoa. Okay.
I don't want to say anything at all, but I'll just say that I really apprecited the twist.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, Maisie Day. Maisie Day was my number 4. So let's get into your number 3. I feel like we'll have some deviations here.
Okay, so my number 3 is an episode called Loch Henry.
Okay.
And this one kind of is about 2 filmmakers
yep.
or wannabe filmmakers, and they're also a couple, and they kind of go back to visit the guy's family, and you know there's some history and things that have happened that the guy's been through, and
yeah, something very dark happening in the town.
Yeah. And you know, again with the twist, you think you know where the story's going, and then there's a twist that just brings it all together, and it's just it was really good.
Yeah, very good episode. Let me get into my number 3. I feel like this one's going to throw you for a loop. But I feel like, you know, we were watching it together. I'll be able to explain myself here. Beyond the Sea is my number 3.
Okay, sometimes I feel like you do this just to have a different list than me, honestly.
I did not. Look,
you're known for this.
I really liked this episode. But you know when we were watching that, I had problems with a lot of things. But
I feel like you were just being critical though, because I was being very critical of Josh Hartnett.
I love Josh Hartnett. Are you kidding me? So that's the highlight of this episode for me. I love Aaron Paul too. Like I thought he was spectacular, but Josh Hartnett, getting to see him back, like I just don't get to see him much anymore. And he was one of my favorite actors growing up as a kid. But he's spectacular. Aaron Paul's spectacular. Kate Mara, who you don't like at all. And anything, I thought she was great in this. So I think that everybody was phenomenal. And I don't know if you want me to like explain anything about this episode, but you have Aaron Paul, you have Josh Hartnett. They're in space. They're on like some kind of space mission, but their consciousness is transported down to Earth, and they're able to live their lives with their families on Earth while their actual like physical bodies are on this mission in space, and they can kind of go back and forth. So it's a cool concept. There's some very dark things that happen in the episode.
Very.
I really enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I liked all these episodes except for Joan is Awful. But when I'm looking at the other 2 episodes that I have further up, I feel like I appreciated it and liked those better.
Gotcha.
Thought they had better structure to them. I just had some issues with some of the logic and some of the character choices and decisions I just had problems with.
Okay. Okay, so my number 2 is an episode called Demon 79. And so I think
that was the last one we watched.
Yeah, it was the last episode, and it was also the longest, I think.
Yep.
It might have been up there with Beyond the Sea. I think
it was they were both like an hour and 15
over hour. 20, over an hour. But yeah, Demon 79 was, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think I was going to like it. Just with the way that it opened, it kind of had a different like film style. It's definitely horror, but it's also like comedic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
and I had heard about Demon 79. I thought it was going to be like really dark, like horror, but it's actually pretty lighthearted for a lot of it, considering like the subject matter. And I like how they played with those 2 genres of like horror and comedy. So my number 2 is not the same as you. It's Loch Henry. That is my number 2. I enjoyed this one a lot. I didn't love it from the start, but where it ended up was just so like dark and out of left field, and I just dug it so much. So
yeah.
And I like how they, like in the Black Mirror like universe, like they play, like they're always like creating like connections between like other episodes and other seasons even. Yeah. So you have Lock Henry that's on the Streamberry app and Joan is Awful. So you kind of have that foreshadowing, and they bring that through with the documentary and stuff at the end.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool how that played out. But yeah, it's very, very dark where it goes, and I appreciated it. I liked it. I wasn't expecting
Ken
it at
likes
all.
the dark stuff.
I like the dark stuff when it's done properly. And I thought that this one was built really well. I thought the mom was great. The kid was great. I liked all the actors. I liked the setting. I liked the tone, and I just love where it ended up. So Lock Henry was my number 2.
Okay. Well, my number 1 is Beyond the Sea. I don't know. I really enjoyed the episode. I felt like it was just like, I don't know. It felt like a movie. It was just very beautifully shot. Like just everything looked good, and
it had the star power to it as well.
Josh Hartnett was in it, and Aaron Paul, and you've already said everybody, but I thought that everybody was good. I mean, everybody's been was good in all the episodes, though, honestly. But I don't know, it was something about this episode that I just really dug. And like you said, it was definitely dark.
Beyond the Sea was very dark and very dreary. I feel like all the way to the end, and it just hit you like a ton of bricks when they got to the very end too. So
right, and it's just always so interesting to kind of think about what you would do in the situation. And in this movie or show, they're basically kind of put in a corner, and they're kind of just stuck with what is at the end. So
yeah, and this was also the episode where I feel like we were trying to predict the ending the most. We just kept saying, well, I think this is going to happen, this is going to happen, that's going to happen.
And we were both,
I feel like we were both right, in our own way at certain points, but it definitely had some unexpected turns as well. But yeah, I loved the episode. I thought it was great. I thought that Josh Hartnett and Aaron Paul, I don't think have ever been in anything together, but they had excellent chemistry with each other.
Yeah, and it is interesting because I like you said, I really don't like what's her name?
Kate Mara.
Yeah, I really don't like her. But I was able to get past it, I guess, because it's still my favorite episode. So
yeah, for sure. And then my number 1 was Demon 79.
Okay, yeah, I knew you really liked it.
I did really. I liked the direction it went in. It went into a very biblical direction, with the Book of Revelations and stuff. By the time you get to the end, and I enjoyed how it did have that real horror tone to it, and it was very dark, but at the same time it was also very comedic and lighthearted as well. And I thought it played with both of those tones just perfectly.
Yeah.
And I love the performance of the main girl in the movie. I'm sorry I don't know her name. She's an Indian actress, but I thought she was great. I thought that the guy was great. The demon character was phenomenal. So I loved everything about this episode all the way through. So this one had to be my number 1.
Yeah. All right. Well, like we said, didn't start out very strong for me, but once I got through that first episode, I got to the end of it, I was very happy with this season, and
I'm honestly, when I look back on some of the other seasons, I'm honestly ready to crown this one the best season of Black Mirror, because I feel like those 4 episodes that I loved were just so strong that I feel like that makes it the best season, because there's definitely hits and misses in every season, but
right, yeah,
really enjoyed this one.
But definitely check out this show if you never have. I don't even know if we've said that it's an anthology series.
It is an anthology series, so every episode is different.
Right.
Different characters, different actors, but
so
all in the same universe.
Yeah, definitely check it out. At least check out a few episodes. If you don't like one, keep trying. I'm sure you'll find some that you really enjoy. So
yeah, for sure. We appreciate y'all watching this, ranking video of the 5 episodes in season 6 of Black Mirror. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment down below, and follow us on our social media accounts down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.